Welcome to April 7th, 2025. And our weather is being a little bit bipolar. The sun keeps coming in little fluctuations. Maybe it's imitating the stock market that I understand had a rather interesting gain today before it crashed again. Um, Trolls are going to troll, I guess. Now, I don't know whether the fellow that claimed that Velveeta Voldemort is going to pause the tariffs for 90 days is going to get into any kind of trouble. I do understand that, you can get in trouble for playing those little games with the stock market, but since Velveeta Voldemort uses it as a toy, maybe the new thing is do what you can do. I don't know. Martha Stewart might have some complaints about that. Anyway, um, it's mind boggling to me how some very, very rich people who have never worried about having a roof over their head or missed a meal, worried about how they were going to pay their medical bills, are now convincing people who live paycheck to paycheck and struggle to pay their medical bills that this is all for the greater good. Well, it certainly is for some greater good. It's for the greater good of the ketamine king types and the Zuckerberg types. It's for the greater good of Velveeta Voldemort and his spawn. I saw something about how he had sold a bunch of his stock in Truth Social and other stocks that he had, and so did his family before the tariffs. I'm sure they're going to buy on the dip, and aren't they in a wonderful position to know when things are going to start going back up? Now, I'm used to rebuilding. I'm used to losing everything. I've lost everything more than once. Treasured things, things I love. But I don't think these farmers are real happy about the thought of losing their family farm that's been in the family for generations. I'm sure that JD Vance is pretty happy about it with his little acres tracker thingy he's got going on. And I'm sure that there are lots of rich people in other countries happy about it because they're going to be getting some prime farmland for the cheap. But, and do, I can't help but look a little bit like smug. That's who I am. I'm a little bit sarcastic. But I'm feeling bad even for the MAGAs that voted for this because I think the ones that are losing their farmland or their family businesses, I think that when they voted for Velveeta Voldemort, they voted for the promises that he made about lower grocery costs and lower housing costs and making America great. They didn't vote for making America a dictatorship or a shithole country. They didn't vote for this. I really firmly believe that. Now, yes, there are some serious Cult of Orange members, especially right around in my area. Not talking about them. They're never going to get it. They're always going to bend over backwards to make excuses for the dictator that they elected. But as far as those that voted for the promises that were made, they see what's happening, and this is not what was promised to us. So, all I can say is get out there with the protests, stand up, make your voice heard, and make sure you talk to those that did not vote in the last election because if we get lucky enough to have another election, we need them. Maggots are going to mag it. We need the rest of you to vote. Hang on to your sanity.